What's happening, ladies and gentlemen of League Zero, and welcome to the postseason press conference for Goofy Goobers. I have a few members of the team with me. Here you can see all their names on the screen. So I guess we'll just get into it. I generally like to start these more chronologically, at least to start off, and then kind of go from there. So this question is going to be more for Jam and anyone else that was sort of on the team like pre-draft. What in particular would you say was like the plan coming into the draft? You picked up a lot of unknown players and whatnot.
I haven't done a draft league before. It was something new that I was trying, so I didn't really have a plan. I was just like, I'll just have to host the pugs and see who I think is good and try to pick them up if I could.
All right. Frick has a question, maybe? You have to accept it. Top right corner. There you go.
There was a thing. There was no patient blocking it. Hello, Goofy Goobers. I have a question for the entire team. I guess one. Wait, is it started yet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
going.
Okay. So my question is, what is everyone's thoughts on barbecue sauce?
Innocent barbecue sauce is best.
Yeah, really good.
moved
I
it
don't
back
like
to
sweet barbecue sauce. Any other kind is very good though.
I think you'd have a good sweet barbecue sauce though. Has to be,
Uh.
good, good. You can't just have like just regular sweet barbecue sauce.
All right. Anyways, going off of the. I don't know if my mic can pick up all the motorcycles going by, but oh well. Right. Anyways, what would you guys say the team was like? Like the team environment was like right after the draft.
Hmm.
I thought personally, so like I knew a bunch of the players that had gotten drafted to our team, so I thought the environment for me at least was pretty friendly. So I don't know, it was just easy to get along with everyone else.
Hello. Welcome.
Mhm.
I would definitely say I was optimistic. Definitely needed some of that, considering what we were drafted up against.
All right. So early on in the season, you guys seem to have played a lot of the Arisa compositions whenever possible. What was the idea behind that? Was it just like extreme levels of comfort zone for your hero pools, or just kind of what you thought the meta was at the time?
I think it was definitely a comfort comp for us.
I think it was more on me not being comfortable on Ryan. And early on we kind of realized that's why we picked up Eevee, that like I just wasn't the Ryan.
I think it also has to do a part with I guess in terms of the way we wanted to play. Whereas I know that a lot of teams, especially in League Zero, with League Zero, a lot of the teams wanting to play Brawl and play aggro. I think that we preferred high amounts of damage and spam in comparison to just press W, Ryan swing, give resources, brain dead.
WM1.
All right. So obviously you all had pretty rough start of the season, right? You actually didn't win a game until playoffs. Aside from obviously kind of fighting an uphill battle with the team composition and what you were comfortable playing, what other kind of factors do you think went into that?
Sometimes we did not get effective practice week to week. I think some weeks it was okay. Sometimes it was non-existent, and then sometimes it was amazing. And we try to build off those. We try to build off those amazing weeks as much as we could.
Like we would get so we'd get like a VOD reviews and such every once in a while, but I think there may have been 1 or 2 scrims all season where we had an actual coach there, like helping us like during the scrim. And I feel like personally that a coach being there to help you during a scrim and point out weaknesses and flaws as it's happening and like during the scrim is much better than VOD reviews, or at least it feels more effective when you have a limited amount of time in League Zero where it's only like a couple months that you play.
All right. In particular, you guys in week 2 and week 5, you played Hope's Peak, and both of those games ended up going to a map 5. Unfortunately, you lost both of those, at least in the regular season. So, like, what kind of happened with those, right? Because you were very close both times and just like fell short.
Like Busan.
Yeah, I don't think we ever
Yeah.
we didn't
Yeah.
scrim Busan all that much.
Yeah, we mostly weren't prepared for Busan, and I think it was also kind of it's like the longer we played, I felt like the more tired everybody got, so comms like became less and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I just get flashbacks to King Zoro. Oh my gosh.
But the my May or the
Yes, perhaps.
perhaps. Hey, I've improved. If Roger can attest to this, and Evie.
Hmm.
Was it you? I know there was one game, I forget which division or which teams were involved, but was it you guys who went to like almost double overtime on King's Row? It went like 5-6 or something like that.
Yeah, it was us.
Yes,
It
we
was.
do.
That was
Fran.
in
We love
playoffs.
Kings Row.
We,
It was recently, right?
I'm pretty. We went to. I think wasn't the score like 6-7?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I
Against
was in
Goobers.
heaven.
Or, not
Like
Goobers,
a
Axolotl.
35-minute map.
I think we lost. Did we?
No,
I don't
no,
know.
we
Yeah, we
won.
won
We
it. We
won.
won it.
We won.
And then
Okay.
we got reverse swept.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Just like every other.
Oh wait, was that the
Yeah.
Axolotl game?
Yes.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's rough.
I got to play Rhine for that long. I was feeling it.
So I guess in particular, now that you mentioned reverse sweeps, you guys were on the other side of a reverse sweep. In the first round of playoffs against Hope's Peak, you got revenge against them after, failing to close it out 2 times in the regular season. So what kind of went into that one win that you guys got that arguably was the most important match you guys faced?
I think we started playing Brawl more when we could and let Evie do a lot.
We also focused on Busan in scrims leading up to that match because we knew that Hope's Peak would pick it, thinking that we weren't going to be good on it, so we prepared for it.
Yeah, I think another big factor, and you could see this leading up to our playoff games, is as the weeks went on, we started to gain more of an identity as a team. In the beginning, we were like very chaotic and like not knowing which comps we want to play. Week to week in practice, we didn't know which kind of style we wanted to go with. Whereas towards the end, we had a pretty definitive idea of what we wanted to play and where, and so we could focus our practice on that, and it showed improvement.
All right.
It definitely culminated in that Hope's Peak game, and I think something else was just like the mental. Like, I definitely think we played like we had nothing to lose because we really did it. That's how it should have been in our situation.
Mhm.
All right.
And I also think that definitely like during the Hope's Peak game, I think after map 2, after we were down 0-2, I think everyone was just kind of like, screw it, we're just gonna have fun and we're just gonna chill and we're just gonna play what we want to. And we did. Like, even in comms, I remember like saying at the end of like Busan, it was like, I have no emotion right now. Like, I'm just there. I'm just existing. And yeah, so I feel like just after we were down 0-2, like we knew we could win, but I think everyone just like relaxed and we just played good. and then that also led us to almost beating Axolotl. But Axolotl just turned it around against us. But I still think that there's a very good chance that we could have been to finals if we just had one more good map against Axolotl.
Yeah, you were up 2-0, so quite literally one more good map, and he could have been against Powerhouse. Let's see, you guys are going through these questions so quickly. Let's see, so sometimes I get awkward answers or different answers, especially in the lower divisions. I'm not sure how unique your guys' answer will be in the advanced division, but what would you say is like your team's comm structure, right? Like, is it just the main take, main support that lead the comms, or is it anything funky?
I kind of just screamed into the mic and things happened.
Yeah, I think it's Eevee and our main support, whether it was Schleim or Scorch In, sort of took the initiative when it came to tempo calling and fight planning a little bit, especially in Rhine comps. And then everyone else contributed where there was dead air or where there was there needed to be comms happening. For example, both Phone and I, we had maps where we would take the majority of the communication on and do all the fight planning and stuff if that was needed. If there was like a bit of dead air, or we would just stay quiet and let the rest of the team do the main brunt of the comms if we were all feeling it and hyped up and stuff.
All right, pretty much standard answer.
Yeah, I think definitely the comm structure got a little bit cleaner at the end, especially in the Hope's Peak game, if I remember correctly. I feel like we had pretty clean fight plans, acted on those, and were able to do things and win because of it. In playoffs. Hope's Peak game in playoffs. Could be wrong, my memory is very bad. But maybe team will know a little bit better.
So
I'll take that as a no.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that was also one of the few maps where I focused on calming a lot as well. And like we all did, as I guess, yeah.
So you guys mentioned briefly how you'd swap Scorch and Schleim, aka Amelia, in and out in main support at different times throughout the season. And if I recall, that's the change started to happen around like week 2, week 3, where you started experimenting with the different main supports. What was like the purpose behind that, and why did you eventually, for the most part, end up on Scorch as opposed to Schleim? Like, what was the difference in their styles?
So we normally would just play Scorch because Slime's availability can change in a second. So like we would be mid map in a game and he would DM me and be like, I have to go after this map. So
Schleim gets a family diff a lot, to say the least.
True.
so that's why we would have to do that. Most of the time though, we would try to have Slime play because Slime is just louder in his comms than Scorch normally is.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually just kind of opted more for Scorch because they were more available.
I think
Yeah.
that and a combination of just Slime couldn't make playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
Yes.
shoulder
I think he
surgery.
couldn't.
Yeah, he
I
physically
think he was
couldn't.
there for one of the games, but not the
So
other.
basically, Schleim, after the Hope's Peak game, I mean, he let us know beforehand, obviously, like a few weeks before, so we got Scorch Martin's rotation. But after the Hope's Peak game, Schleim got a surgery, which means that he couldn't play the game for the rest of the season.
Oh,
So after that Hope's Peak game, I think it was actually a shoulder surgery, which means that he couldn't play versus Axolotl or Powerhouse if we were to make it to finals.
oh, okay. So
He might have been able to play versus Powerhouse because he was playing, even though he
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to.
Yeah,
you
supposed to recover.
probably shouldn't mess with a shoulder surgery that much. You know, it's kind of severe.
It's a bit. Yeah, maybe not. Don't want to mess that up at all. Not worth the Overwatch game.
So if I recall, much earlier in the season, before you traded them away, you had who is it, Hero and Rhinos on the roster as well, right?
Yeah.
And you traded for Natai with Hope's Peak, and like very early on as well. Those two tended to like swap in and out with Phone and Vraja. Well, what was like the thought process there? Was it just like they had very specific heroes that they were very comfortable on for certain maps, or was it just like try to give everyone a little bit of playtime?
Wait, is the question? Wait, so is the question more like why we trade them, or why were they put
No,
in
no.
early season?
Why was there more of a DPS rotation seemingly on certain maps early in the season?
Go ahead.
Ryan would wouldn't admit he was a sniper one trick.
Okay, not that severe.
Yeah. Basically, we figured out at least in the beginning of the season that Hero had very good tracers. So whenever we play mainly tracer, we would have him in, which would basically be Gibraltar, and then for Rhinos, whenever we just really wanted to play those longer range hit scans, like or just DPS heroes in general, like your Ash, Widow, Hanzo characters, then we have him in as well. We did try him out. It was kind of like a 50-50 on him or Vraja within like Brawl and 6-man. I think for 6-man we came more towards Vraja because Vraja's Sombra very good. But yeah, it was just kind of like more of the heroes that they were comfortable on.
All right. And then obviously towards the end of the season, you guys didn't really play Natai too much, if I recall. Maybe a map here and there.
It's kind of became, I guess, like one of the reasons why we trade them for Nitai is because we kind of like, well, Raja wanted the tracer role to himself.
Look,
We
that's
needed
not,
more of a
that's-
hit scan player.
Yeah.
I know, I'm kidding. Yeah. So we just needed like a peer. We basically wanted to get down. I think it was like after like week 3 or 4. We just kind of talked about it and we're like, we need a roster. We can't be having 10 players that swap out every map. And because scrims are just going to be useless if we do that. So we got down to like a decade 6 or 7, and we just kind of improved from there.
Yeah, and so, sort of touching on that as well for why we went for the trade with Nitai. He was at that point the starting DPS for Wisdom, which is a team that EV, Phone, and I are affiliated with. Phone and EV being players, and I was manager/coach. And we knew that he was a very good hit scan, so we were kind of trying to get him over to Goofy Goobers as well for that pre-existing synergy, as well as kind of simplifying the roster to make it more consistent when playing.
Okay. Speaking of scrims, I guess what was the average scrim like? I guess I should ask. Like, was there any goofing around, any funny moments, or just kind of like bog standard?
So yeah, scrims were pretty standard. We always just tried to have a good scrim. I felt like our scrims would either go very well or very bad. There wasn't really like an in between. There's like maybe a couple of teams that we would go back and forth with, but
What do you mean by like very bad? Just like completely getting stomped and couldn't really learn
Yeah.
anything?
yeah.
Or just going to
But we had
one
very
trade.
good scrims more than we had very bad scrims.
Oh, that's an upside, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially towards the end, our scrims were just better.
Let's see.
I wouldn't say the Jurassic and Gibba scrim was very good.
We ended up rolling them.
Did you?
You missed it, yeah. We just started playing comfort
we just
picks
rolled
and just
them.
rolled them.
Wait, what
I think I
scrim?
went to bed or something. I think I had to.
Wait, what scrim?
The one where they were running Hog, Junkrat, Echo Farah,
Oh, yeah.
Mercer, Ana,
That
Lucio.
was more what I went, screw it, I don't need a Mercy
Oh, and
Falcon,
Ball.
I just played Zen Farah.
It worked.
Was that the Kitty Girls?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
Oh,
was
that was our
I-
last scrim
yeah.
ever.
only
yeah.
legs, had
Literally-
Jurassic, Gibba,
Yeah.
Jebaited.
A bunch of
I remember
small like streaming
Jam-
one tricks.
Jam gave me the contact info, and it was like the name was Kitty Girls, and as soon as I saw that, I'm just like, there's no way this is a good scrim. There's no one that names their team Kitty Girls and is a good team unless you're like best buds.
Goofy Goobers also sounds like a not very appealing team to try to
Yeah,
scrim.
it
I
does.
mean, at least like it could be like it's like almost like a lighthearted joke. It's not like, oh yeah, we're like the kawaii girls.
I mean, hey, Love Muffin was actually pretty strong in season 3, so you can't.
Oh my god, please
Shout out.
don't bring
Shout
that
out,
up.
Love Muffin.
Love
Shout
Muffin.
out.
Love Muffin. I remember when names were released, like after the manager decided, the manager started releasing names for that season, and I was in the VC with people, and we just died laughing at the Love Muffin branding. It was
Ben
so
committed so hard to that. It was so funny.
That purple was the best color in the server.
Technically,
Hands
the
down.
role still exists.
Oh, can I have it back?
I don't know where it is. Hold on, let me find it.
Yeah, I should give him the Love Muffin role.
There you go.
Probably.
it's underneath the Goofy Goobers
Let's
one.
go. Pink and purple. Awesome.
Wait, that means that the Bop Burgers role might still be alive.
Technically, all the old rules are still, well, almost all the old rules, besides like season 0 rules. I think we have all the old ones. I don't know why we've been archiving them. I didn't pay attention to that until like 2 weeks ago when we determined I was going to be commissioner and I was getting things organized. And there's a lot of stuff that's clunky. There's so many roles that whenever I have to create a new one or like change a thing, it lags the entire server for a minute because it has to go through all the processes of like moving the positions, changing the color. It's a nightmare. Like the actual server lags for a minute. So that's fun. Yeah. Anyways, that's most of all the more specific questions. I do have one last question that I like to end it off with. What's that?
I said hero, but Woozy's here. Let's go.
Yeah. Right. Lost my train of thought for a second. Right, so I do have like one last question that I like to ask the teams just to close it out, end it on a lighter note. Plus it pads a little bit of time. So, what was your favorite memory throughout the course of season 4?
Me personally, okay, you guys remember the Powerhouse game where both me and I can't remember their main tank, I think it was Speed, we're just staring at each other while nothing was happening.
Oh my.
I think
Do you guys remember that?
I think
I
I
It was
don't-
Hollywood. It was Hollywood.
I was gonna say it had to be Hollywood.
It was Hollywood where we're both playing like I don't think it was Sombra Tracer. It was something like that, Echo Tracer or something. And me and Speed were just staring at each other because we're both trying to build Nano, but we won't shoot each other, and no one's shooting the monkeys.
I think I either
think that-
casted or streamed that game.
You casted that one, I think, because I think you and the other caster started questioning it, like didn't understand what was going on, and
Yeah,
we were just
'cause
both
it's-
deep voted to build Nano. I remember like toward either the start of that map or the middle of that map, everybody was like, all right, like just fuck it, have fun. And like we're just like we started like overcoming, like having like laughing at each other, laughing at just playing, and we actually did pretty well that map.
I'd say my favorite memory from season 4 was when we were playing against Hope's Peak when they still had Nitai, and we were on Gibraltar, and he was on Tracer trying to 1v2 me and Schlein,
my god.
and then he recalled, and I predicted the recall and stuff him.
I remember that.
And then also another favorite memory of mine is whenever I would sleep a nanoed monkey and no one on my team would wake him up, because it didn't happen often.
Doesn't happen often. I was about to say.
Did it ever happen?
I think a handful of times, yeah.
Maybe once or twice.
Less than
I think
10%.
I think my favorite memory, now it isn't in an official match, but it's like one of our first scrims we ever had. It was versus Hope's Peak. And it was when, I think it was Rialto, was it? Or Havana? Anyways, regardless, for some reason, I was put in on the Widow map when we were supposed to have Ryan in on the Widow map. And I was like, okay, great. I haven't played Widow in like 3 months. Let's see what we can do. And their lineup was Nitai and Snipes. And somehow I DPS diff Snipes so hard that Nitai was DMing me saying like, this guy's going for really wacky stuff, just trying to ego peek you now because he doesn't want to lose the Widow duels.
That sounds like Snipes.
Oh my goodness.
So
It was very fun.
Roger just beat a Widow player in a Widow 1v1, and it was very funny.
I think early scrims, we scrimmed most of the teams, right? We scrimmed every single one, I think, a couple times before the season actually started. I think one of them, it was versus Powerhouse. And it was like, I think some of the teams were trying not to play Brawl a lot. And I think Powerhouse played Double Shield. And there was one specific comm I made. I'm like, kill Myth, he's throwing. Like, he literally GA'd into our team. I don't know, it was funny.
I guess I also like the times that we played. This is like, I guess, like I have a memory like out of Overwatch, but like whenever we played Jackbox as a team, that was always super funny, especially when we played like the role models or the other ones where it's basically just making fun of each other.
Home party where I hard focus someone.
Humble party was the best. And then probably my favorite moment as a team, like in Overwatch, was I think we went up. It was either Powerhouse or no, I think it was Hope's Peak. It was Lijiang, Hope's Peak. It was Hope's Peak to Axolotl. I remember it was like one of the. It was one of the playoff games, the last week of the season versus Axolotl. It was one of those 3 games. Where on Lijiang Gardens, we played 6-man into Brawl and won, and it just felt super good because like by all means, like Brawl should win that just in general. Like a normal Maycree Brawl just should win that. But I feel that it just felt really good just to play super well and do it. And then also the Hope Speak game where I just was on Torb just shooting stuff half asleep.
I'd have to say, for me, it's the Havana against Hope's Peak in the playoffs, where I had a Gravite, a Dragon Eat, and then I had a really weird, strange bomb on second point that somehow killed 3. And I don't know. That whole map, I feel like I played really well, and I vividly remember it. And then if I had to
Havana was not a map pool.
Yes, it was.
Did I say Havana? I meant Rialto.
Rialto.
And then I think just all of the Kings Row game against Axolotl in the playoffs was just a blast. I really enjoyed it.
Scorch, Evie, got any favorite moments you want to share?
So for me, my favorite moments were in scrims, and it was just like funny moments when like a Ryan would just pin in randomly and someone would get hit or like booped off the map, and all you would hear is just them screaming for their life. What else? So like for one example, early when we were scrimming, when Rhinos was on the team, we were playing Eichenwald second point, and the Rhine just pins up the stairs through castle while Rhinos is on bridge, and he's just gone and died. And I thought that was really funny.
That reminds me of the moments whenever I would be on May, and I would be like poking for ult charge on like King's Row or wherever we were playing May. I just like I'm out. Then I just get one shot.
Yeah,
Or,
those were
or
always
use
funny.
Ryo in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I did.
They just double headshot you with May and Kree.
Just like I see you like in their spawn, like I ask a phone, can you get out? And then I see you cry out, no.
Another one was I remember on Kings Row. It was pretty sure it was a scrim like mid-season. I was on May and I was fighting on second on like the high ground on defense on like second corner like by bookstore, and I remember like looking at it was either like Rajan Kree or it was like EOC or something. I'm just like, I'm going for this play, and one of you were like, no, this play made, and then I was like, no, then I wall, and then I get the blizzard off, but I just get insta kill, and it was so funny.
Phone definitely played a very independent May.
Okay, it worked except for that one game that we won't mention against Hope's Peak, where a lot of I solved.
Hey,
one
you said we wouldn't mention it.
I solved
True.
that day.
Evie, you got any particular favorite moments?
Again, as I said earlier, I have a very bad memory. I think the one that really just sticks in my mind though is when we played that one game that wasn't Overwatch.
Pummel
Pummel
Party.
Party.
What was
Is
it?
it the
Pummel Party, the Mario Party.
Yeah, Pummel Party. I thought that was super fun. I remember just purposely saying the wrong like rotation. That was funny. I had fun.
me and Evie bonded a lot in Pummel Party.
Yeah. That was lots of fun. I think that was my favorite moment. That's the one that sticks out to me most. But that wasn't even Overwatch though, so that's a lie.
Evie just liked playing Ryan. Anytime you got to play Ryan, it was perfect.
Yeah, I was happy. I had a big old smile on my face.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I do have one from Overwatch. It was during the first match that I was in on the team. I think both Nitai and Vraja disconnected at like the exact same moment.
Oh my god.
That was in the match versus Powerhouse, I think.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
I remember I was like mid monkey jump staring at their entire team. It was like a couple minutes. I was just eating my ice cream sundae, just looking their entire team dead in the face. I like that. That was funny. That was my favorite moment from Overwatch.
All right, and Jam, you got any favorite moments from this season?
Yeah. So, later in the season, phone came up to me. And she said, I know why we've been losing games. And I was like, what?
Oh my
And she said it was because we weren't listening to the Goofy Goober song before our games. So then we did it before our next game. I think it was versus Hope's Peak. And we lost. So we knew it wasn't that.
And
That
then
was
you
a good
guys
one.
stopped.
Just process
I
of
think we did like
elimination,
one
wasn't
other
that?
time.
Yeah, we only did it once. We lost, so we,
We
knew
only
it
did it
wasn't
one
that.
time? I thought we did it
Yeah.
like 2 times.
There's also another theory going through my head. It's like, okay, there's a team that in Toker that I played on where whenever the manager wasn't there, we would win in like hard roll, but when the manager was there, we either barely win or we would lose. So I was thinking about asking Jam to intentionally miss a game to see if that theory would work.
Well, I think I did miss like half the Hope's Peak game in playoffs because my power went on or something. So I think I missed like 2 maps. And I was just messaging one of you, asking for updates. So it could have been that.
All right. Well, unless anyone has any closing statements, that's pretty much all I've got.
I know what we should have done. to win this league should have put me on Reinhardt, removed my M1 and right click key, and had me only pin. I think we would have won.
Poligator.
Do the bumper strat.
Alright, well, that's everything I've got. 35 minutes, not bad. I was worried this was only going to take like 10 minutes. But pretty good on the time. So thank you guys for showing up to this. Thanks to anyone who watched live. And thanks to anyone who watched this after the fact on YouTube. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and all that. Subscribe to Appease Ride Coast. I know he stares at that stat consistently. Either way, that's all we've got. So until next time, don't die.